Hey everyone, BDZB Comics here. Are you ready? Let's do this!
Number 10, Gatorade.
That's right, folks, we're talking about misogyny!
This move is called Digivice Power, and really it's 3 moves in one.
I'm done with Patty's Plankton.
What you just saw was the channel trailer I made in June with some slight edits. While it has only been a few months since then, I have hit the milestone of 1,000 YouTube subscribers. And while this is nothing compared to the majority of my YouTube subscriptions, which have hundreds of thousands, if not millions of subscribers, I do think that this is a milestone worth celebrating, since YouTube itself sort of celebrates it in allowing YouTube users past this threshold to monetize their content and post in the community tab. Also, I've been running this YouTube channel for 13 years with barely any success, so I gotta take these small victories as they come. Since there are so many new faces around here, I wanted to take some time to discuss the history of this channel and what BDZB Comics is all about. The channel trailer you just watched does a decent job, so I might refer back to that a few times throughout, but I want to go a little deeper, and to do that, we'll have to go back in time to the bygone year of 2007.
2007, Barry God died in Malibu ignited.
My very first YouTube video was called Toiletmonger's Introduction, and I made it when I was 15. The name Toiletmonger was an online username that I used on TV.com and GameSpot at the time. I was really into potty humor at the time, and I just thought that Toiletmonger sounded funny, so I stuck with it. Although there was a kid that I went to school with whose name was Dylanmonger, so maybe that leaked into my subconscious when choosing a username. Now, you'll notice a few things right away with this video. First of all, the camera quality is terrible. The camera I filmed this with was actually a Christmas gift from my mom. I asked for it because my brother, who I'll talk about in more depth later, had an active YouTube career at that time, and I thought, that doesn't seem that hard. I bet I could do that.
You'll also notice the super boring background that was predictably at my parents' house, and we were discouraged from hanging up posters and the like. Also, I was a dumb kid who didn't know what made for an appealing background, although I honestly haven't gotten that much better since.
Finally, you'll notice that I'm wearing 2 shirts. That was a request from my brother, as the shirt I had underneath was a Nebraska Cornhusker shirt, and he didn't want anyone in his audience making the connection that he was in Nebraska and I was as well, and figuring out that we were brothers. Now, I know that this was kind of an asshole move, but he was 17 at the time, so, you know, that's like prime asshole age. Oh, don't anyone take that out of context, please. Getting into the meat of the video itself, though, as my first ever YouTube video, it's retrospectively a really bad overview of my channel. I say I'll do game reviews, but I have never once posted one, at least not on YouTube. I did have a blog about it for a while, which I will get into in a little bit, but yeah, as of right now, no game reviews on my channel. I said I'll use YouTube as a platform to showcase my cartoon ideas, but I never did that either. Although that would make for some pretty interesting content now, wouldn't it? Then, of course, there is this gem.
Some of my favorites videos, they're a little sketchy with language and stuff, but me, no. Just because some of my favorites videos and stuff have language or whatever, I'm not going to. I am not going to use a swear word, except maybe the occasional God, but I don't think that's a swear word.
I obviously grew out of that.
Can I order some soup off of that transition? Because it was
fucking seamless.
But hey, I was filming these at my mom's house, and she was really anti-swearing at the time, so I kinda had to set that limit for myself as well. There was also this.
If I catch you spamming in the comments sections of my videos, I will tear your lungs apart and eat them for breakfast, and maybe lunch, and maybe dinner. Because I've noticed on some of my subscriptions videos that if you look down at the comments, in these big bold letters, like the largest text possible, free congregation of swingers at soandso.com, and I'm like, it's a Pokemon video. You're spamming. Don't be a fool.
Whoa. My impression of spam comments at 15 sounds just like my current adult voice. It's funny how that works. Anyway, that particular moment in the video got screen capped and memed on the GameSpot forums I used to frequent at the time. This was done lovingly, but also that moment was pretty, as the kids say, cringe. So a more malicious memeing wouldn't have been entirely unjustified. That video went up and it didn't see much traction. 13 years later and there's still less than 1,000 views on it at the time I'm writing this. But there were still some interesting reactions regardless. For one, my mom, who, need I remind you, bought me the camera in the first place, told me that she wasn't sure about me posting my videos publicly, as I mentioned in the description that I was nervous and a little embarrassed by it, so she thought that that would make me a victim of harassment or pedophilia or something. Also, someone in the comments noticed that I put handsome as one of the tags for my video. This was, of course, when tags were still displayed publicly, and she had herself a laugh. This was actually done as a reference to DaxFlame, a popular YouTuber and character at the time who did the same thing in all of his videos. I actually still use the handsome tag to this day because of that, even though you can only see that if you go through the metadata or whatever. Anyway, I did a lot more vlog-style videos like this, but most of them have been deleted since. They were all pretty similar to Toilet Monger's introduction in that I didn't have a script or even an outline really. There was no editing, and it was mostly just staring at the camera. And the thing is, I didn't even unlist them. They were straight up deleted, which is a bit of a shame because I remember recording one about a hypothetical game called Shakespeare vs. Capcom that might be fun to rewatch. But the just talking to the camera format was really popular in the early days of YouTube, but you don't really see it as much anymore. I usually try to get more creative with my formats these days, but we'll still break out a scriptless video on occasion when I want to talk about something really quick. Anyway, let's time travel a few months later to... I released a video called Danielle, and it was my first big break, so to speak. Here it is in its entirety.
Ignore the sounds in the background, please. But... you know what? Maybe I should just go record this. Why are you filming this? There you go.
Yep, that's my brother, Dan Brown, Pogo Bat, former moderator of South Pole of the Moon. Listen, he's my brother, and I still don't really know what that is. Anyway, he had a big following back then for his Rubik's Cube tutorials, vlogs, and political content, so having him not only in my video, but also having him share that video on social media was a big boost to my channel. Especially when I made a promise to those who subscribed. You see, I had made a few appearances on Dan's channel by this point, including a video where he and his friend blended a Big Mac, fries, and a chocolate milkshake from McDonald's into a smoothie.
Dude,
What?
To give it to my brother.
Ben? Nice.
Hey Ben! Hey Ben! You want a milkshake? Come here. Hey Ben, you want a milkshake?
Sure.
Alright.
While you can't see it now because YouTube disabled comments on the Danielle video, I offered to reveal whether or not I actually drank the milkshake when I hit 100 subscribers. Fast forward another year, and
Dan gave me the McDonald's shake. Except it wasn't really the McDonald's shake. It was just a regular chocolate shake that he had me drink. Although I still didn't like it very much. I don't know, McDonald's doesn't have great chocolate shakes.
there you go. Around this same time, I was working on a Super Smash Bros. 64 machinima called Old School. I voiced a few different characters on there, and those caused another big blow up for the channel since a few of our episodes were featured on Screw Attack back when they were actually a community and knew how to produce content beyond epic anime fights that shill for Rooster Teeth. Those episodes are still up on Crud Muffin Studios, but they haven't exactly aged the best and are maybe even a little transphobic.
Yeah, this is hot. Take it off.
You only pay me to show up. Stripping's gonna be extra.
Venus?
I know, hot, right?
I'm pretty sure that's a guy. This is the best party ever! Yeah, I'm gonna leave before this gets somehow even more disturbing.
Again, we were dumb high schoolers following trends back then, and both machinima and transphobia were pretty trendy back in 2009. Unfortunately, machinima wasn't the one that stuck around. Speaking of following trends though, other content of mine from around that time included YouTube poops, song parodies, and a weird Go Animate-like program called Extra Normal.
So, if it wasn't your clothes that he stole, then why are you naked?
I decided to give up wearing clothes for Lent.
But Lent is over. Besides, we live in a communist government. All religions have been outlawed.
God damn it, Steve.
Now, before I move on to the next part, I asked some friends on Facebook what I should do for my 1,000 subscriber special. I'm going to try and incorporate some of their ideas into my video. One such idea came from Caleb Wade Lawson Engelage. I have talked with him on Facebook for years. I don't know how to pronounce your last name, so sorry, buddy. But anyway, he suggested that I do a face reveal. So, here is Face from the Nick Jr. block of Nickelodeon back in the 90s and early 2000s.
And this is the face you make when the one and only Little Bill is coming next.
Are you satisfied, Caleb? Now, let's time travel back again to 2011.
It's Friday, gotta get down on Friday. Everybody's looking forward to the weekend.
This was a big year for the channel, and when I actually started putting effort into my videos. You'll notice that a couple of my videos from this time had this weird intro with a snake in them. That's because these were from my digital media class, which required me to come up with a studio name and put its intro in all of my videos. This class was invaluable in teaching me Adobe programs like Photoshop and Premiere, which were skills that I carried over and expanded on in future videos. During this year, I created two of the most popular videos on my channel. An AMV featuring a Black Eyed Peas song, which is somehow still getting views to this day, and the Jason song, which I made for one of my high school friends on his birthday, though I showed it to my college roommate as well, and he liked it so much that he played it on loop, so that's probably responsible for like half of the views. In 2013, I started trying to make top 10s a regular thing on my channel. I made 2 Super Smash Bros. Wishlist videos that did well, and another top 10 that didn't, So I kind of gave up on that for the time being, and didn't really come back to it until a good 6 years later. I also had a short-lived Let's Play channel called Boys to Games that I ran with Jason of the Jason Song fame.
The Smash content taught me an important lesson. Timing is everything. See, I made a bunch of Smash videos during the Smash Bros. For Wii U and 3DS hype cycle, and those tended to get a couple thousand views apiece, but what really proved how important timing was came a little later. Before I get into that, though, let's do another quick viewer suggestion. William Spicebeard Cooper suggests that I do a mega video of Smash movesets for all of the bosses in the No More Heroes series. That seems like it'll take a while, but here goes nothing. So, despite only appearing in the trailer for the first game, Helter Skelter is part of the lore, so it's only right to start there. So, for his entrance animation, he...
6.5 hours later.
And then for Jasper Bat Jr.'s final smash, he turns into his muscular form from his second phase of his boss fight, and he punches his opponent straight through a skyscraper window. Whew! That was exhausting, but you're all still here, right guys? Okay, well, for those of you who did stick around, let's travel over to...
It's 2015, and I got to go crazy.
So, this was a strange period in my life, where I was out of college, but not yet settled in New York. I spent most of the year living with my parents still, but I did try living with my brother... No, not Dan, the other one, and his now wife in Minneapolis for a while, seeing if I could get a job and be independent out there. For that month, I went to bed at 10 p.m. every night, and spent the time from when I woke up until at least 4 p.m. applying for jobs and going to interviews. I didn't have a game console with me, I just had my 3DS, and I was staying on an air mattress in a small guest room surrounded by things that weren't mine. So during this time, basically the only things I did for fun were browsing Know Your Meme and watching Steven Universe. It's through the convergence of these two that I came to learn of a few major controversies in the Steven Universe fandom, including an incident where a vocal minority of them nearly drove a fan artist to suicide over some artwork that depicted the characters thinner than they are in canon. My knee-jerk reaction was that I needed to speak out about this and tell the Steven Universe fandom to basically get their shit together. And so, I made what was, up until very recently, the most viewed content on my channel. Steven Universe Fandom, We Need to Talk, Part 1 and 2. Looking back, I have very mixed feelings on these videos. On the one hand, they really helped to grow my channel, and I'm guessing that the majority of the people watching this who aren't friends or family members learned about me through these videos. On the other, they haven't exactly aged well.
2 out of the 3 crystal gems that serve as Steven's sort of guardians have shown signs of being lesbians, or at the very least bisexual, but one of them really hasn't.
But I don't just mean that in an in-universe sense. And in Steven Universe sense, ha ha! Got him!
Bazinga!
But no, seriously, I also tried my best to not come off like an alt-right chud about any of this, and even said that most of the things that SJWs fight for are valid, but the wider conversation about this particular incident seemed to boil down to, here's why those crazy SJWs are so terrible! And I wasn't really able to stop that type of conversation from happening in the comments of my videos either. And I know that no matter how eloquent or thought out a video on these subjects was, there always would have been some people misinterpreting my intentions. I do feel like I definitely could have looked at the situation more objectively and not gotten so mad about so many minor things leading up to the cyberbullying incident.
But fans are like, well, if if Garnet and Pearl are lesbians, then Amethyst is a lesbian, duh. And they start shipping her with just random female characters from the show.
Because you see, it's this kind of mentality of, oh, look at how ridiculous people are being. I'm not even going to write a script, let alone have someone proofread it and provide feedback. I'll just give my gut reaction, that leads to the spread of misinformation, a cultivation of chuds in your audience, and a false enemy being propped up for them to attack. This is why I very rarely talk about online controversies on my channel anymore. There are sometimes things that I want to talk about, like the recent Twitter fiasco over a white woman using the Afro Puffs customization option in Animal Crossing. But if making a video like that has the potential to make me look like a reactionary chud, and it's something that people are going to forget about in a few weeks anyway, should I really bother talking about it? Anyway, I followed up these 2 super successful videos with, well, not much of anything really. 2016 continued the trend of living with my parents and not knowing what I was doing with my life, only it was worse because my video editing program decided to stop working altogether partway through the year. So, instead of editing videos, I wrote blogs. I called my blog Ben's Life After College. And it wasn't just started as an alternative to YouTube, but also because I was desperately looking for a job, and I read somewhere that having a blog was a good way to show potential employers your writing ability, your professionalism, or something like that. The blog started out as just kind of a random journal about life, how I didn't like Septile, Fight Me IRL, and Super Smash Bros. Shitposting, but I soon developed it into a more focused project. Ben's Favorite Games of All Time, 2K16 Edition, or BF GOAT 2K16 for short. I had a lot of fun writing these reviews, and I'd say they still hold up pretty well for the most part. I've long since thought about adapting them into full game reviews for my channel, so if that's something you think you'd be interested in, please let me know. My favorite games of all time have changed quite a bit since 2016, so I would like to revisit the series again someday. By September, my editing program was working again, and my favorite games project was coming to a close. I released a Steven Universe AMV, which probably would have gotten a lot more views if I posted it closer to when I did the We Need to Talk videos, but most of the remainder of the year was spent getting settled in New York City, so I wasn't releasing as much content. Speaking of New York, my friend David, who I met out here, suggested I poison myself with bad curry for my 1,000 subscriber special. It's a clear reference to the 500 subscriber special he did on his channel, where he and his wife tried recreating curry recipes from Pokemon Sword and Shield in real life.
Ready? No.
I told him I'd be willing to do it, but only if he and Allie were willing to collaborate. So, let's give them a Zoom call and see if they're willing to help me out. Oh, hey guys!
Hey, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing well. Hey there, David and Allie from the Pokemon Nuzlocke Let's Play channel Couples Consoling.
That's quite a mouthful. I don't think I ever say that much.
What are you guys up to?
Well, quarantining?
Working while quarantining?
Attempting to learn Japanese by playing Japanese Pokemon?
Lots of Final Fantasy XIV and putting off work to play Final Fantasy XIV?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I mean, that's great. So I just got 1,000 subscribers, and I was wondering if you...
Congrats.
Well, thank you. I was wondering if you wanted to do a quick collab.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, what do you have in mind?
So, like, I saw you were, like, joking around on Facebook earlier, but, like, I actually went ahead and bought these Japanese, like, Power Rangers curries on eBay, and I was, you know, wondering if you wanted to, like, come over and maybe try them.
Well, we're funny funny story.
We'd love to, but we're
We'd
in
very much
Maryland
love
now.
to, but no, we moved out of New York, unfortunately. So
COVID and all that.
yeah,
I mean,
COVID. Nothing else.
Okay, I mean, thanks for the life update. You could still visit, you know. I mean, like, I went to Maryland for your wedding, and like it was like a day trip for me. So like, if we just like plan a time, we could.
Yeah, but like social distancing.
Yeah, we really the social distance. It's so important right now.
Yeah,
and we're so busy.
We're so busy right now.
Yeah,
Too busy.
Well, but like, look, like I got 2 boxes. I can mail you one, and then we could kind of do like what we're doing now, like together. You know, you could eat some of the curry, and I could eat some of the curry, like live recording sort of thing.
Well,
all right. I mean, whatever. I guess more for me then. All right. Anyway, let's time travel.
Nathan, happy 12. Fuck. Oh no! Oh no!
Sorry, what was and happy Twevin to you too, Caldwell.
Nathan, happy 2017 to you.
Happy Twevin and happy set 2017.
So 2017 marks what I like to consider the beginning of the modern era of my channel. For one thing, I ditched the old Toiletmonger username in favor of BDZB Comics, which I still use to this day. I changed my username because I still didn't have a lot of job security, and I figured if potential employers found out that I had a YouTube channel with the word toilet in it, that might reflect negatively on me. So I should probably give that an update. BDZB Comics had been my Twitter handle since high school, and it came from my initials, Benjamin David Zaylor Brown. The comics part was because I used to draw cringy self-insert comics that I would show to my high school classmates. I actually started my Twitter account in part to promote them, though I'm not really drawing many comics anymore. Moreover, though, this was the year where I started taking the channel more seriously and creating more scripted and edited content that I could still be relatively proud of to this day. I made some Smash Moveset videos with more or less the same format that I use today, a couple of shitposts, as well as my Asperger's Academia, how Deku's story reflects my own. This was a really personal video for me, and I was a little nervous putting it out there, but I really liked how it turned out, and despite some audio problems, I'd still say that it's the best video on my channel. In fact, I was so proud of it then that I went into the comments section of the Steven Universe fandom We Need to Talk videos and urged people to check it out because I thought it was a lot more deserving of continued viewership than those videos were. It took some time for it to find an audience, but now that it has, it's one of the most consistently viewed videos on the channel, and it seems to be reaching all the right people because, like, holy shit, guys, the comments are just so wholesome. It's full of people sharing their stories about growing up with autism, how they powered through, and how they too relate to Deku's journey. Seriously, guys, if you only watch one other video on this channel, make it that one, please. 2018 was probably the most productive year for me in terms of content. Dan's YouTube channel was active again for a bit, and he was looking for a new president of Dan Brown's universe, something that I happily obliged in.
Greetings, Daniel Scott Zaylor Brown. 'Tis your brother, Benjamin David Zaylor Brown. I heard about your little election, and I saw it as an opportunity to finally get out of your shadow. For too long have I had to suffer. You've made me drink disgusting McDonald's milkshakes. You filmed me in my underwear. Well, no more. Now, younger siblings everywhere, should I win, will be on top.
I also summarized the plot of some Switch games, including Xenoblade Chronicles 2, which I plan to make a regular series on the channel, and even made thumbnails for future episodes, but those videos didn't perform that well, and I ended up getting distracted by other stuff. So I made fun of Burt Hartman.
The types of programs we're going to do, I promise you that they're not going to be boring, okay? Those are the types of programs, just interesting programs that you like. family friendly. Okay, family friendly, good for the family. Focus on the family.
I reacted to the E3 press conference, and I ranked all of the English Pokemon anime intros. I had put way more time into making that particular video than people put into watching it, especially because it had to be uploaded onto Dailymotion due to YouTube copyright bots, and even there, the first part got age restricted due to me using the Final Space intro as an example, because there's gore in there. So that's another link I put in the description for you guys to watch, since, again, I worked really hard on it, and I'm proud of it, and I think it deserves more attention. Easily my most prolific content at that time, though, was my Super Smash Bros. Content. We all kinda knew it was coming before, but a Nintendo Direct officially announced a Smash Bros. Game would be coming to Switch that year, and then E3 shed more light onto it with a big Ultimate Showcase. So, I struck while the iron was hot and made Smash video after Smash video. Easily my biggest video from that time period was Super Smash Bros. Switch, Character Expectations versus Desires, and I could see why. Character wishlist videos can be a lot of fun to watch, but the formula gets a little stale when everyone picks the same characters and does them in the exact same way. I think that the Predictions versus Desires format works really well, and I've thought about adapting the format onto other topics too. I also saw moderate success with my videos on the changes I'd make to the returning cast, but probably my favorite video from the time was a tongue-in-cheek moveset for Pyukumuku in Smash. For the record, I still think Pyukumuku would be far more interesting than like 90% of the other Pokemon character options they could go with, but I think that ship has sailed, if it was ever there to begin with. Speaking of Pokemon, the end of 2018 through the beginning of 2019 saw me between jobs again, and so I had a lot of free time. This free time was used to come up with ideas for Indonesia as a Pokemon region, and I was watching a lot of Mr. Buddy's content at the time, thinking, whoa, I could turn this into a YouTube series. I made 2 videos about this and started editing a video about the region's Pokedex before 2 things happened. 1, I had gotten a new 8-hour office job that took up a lot of my free time, and 2, I realized just how much work that ideal would be and how it would effectively prevent me from making any sort of content for a long time, even if I'd prefer to do that over continuing the Indo region. And so I scrapped the project, or at least tabled it. I suppose now that I have 1,000 subscribers, I could qualify for the YouTube Partners program and monetize my videos, but even if I did that, I'd still need to keep my current job. Realistically, if I were to do a series like that, I would need to make YouTube my primary full-time job, and that would require a much bigger audience than I have currently. Anyway, 2019 continued with Smash movesets, shitposts, and a top 10 list about that YouTube channel that made an awkward cameo here for a moment. It also included my first attempt at a long-form video essay in unpacking Travis and Shinobu's relationship in the No More Heroes series. This one took a lot of work, but I'm really proud of how it came out. So again, if you had to watch one video of mine after this special, make it My Asperger's Academia. But if you had to watch 2, make the second one this one. The Travis one. Finally, we come to 2020.
Please scream and run around in circles. Thanks for coming.
2020 continued the trend from 2019, such as making Smash movesets and Steven Universe content. The latter is what led me to get to 1,000 subscribers, although it was really only one video that did it. Every time someone says Mom in Steven Universe Seasons 1 through 5, which I did as a Mother's Day special back in May, but it only really started blowing up now for some reason. So, if you came from that video directly to this one, I'd recommend checking out a few of the Steven Universe videos I did earlier in the year because I think you'd like them a lot. In January, I made a video with my brother, and this time it is the same one who was popular on YouTube back in the day, and I had him guess the plot of different Steven Universe episodes based on only their titles and their TV guide descriptions. It was a cute, funny video, which I had way too much fun editing. So here are some out-of-context photoshops I did for that video. Now, go watch, or well, don't yet, finish this video first, and then go watch. I also made a shitpost about SpongeBob SquarePants experiencing some of the more intense moments of Steven Universe Future, which I think is good for some laughs, but if you want some non-Steven Universe recommendations, I'd encourage you to watch my video about why everyone with a Nintendo Switch needs to buy No More Heroes, as well as my video on the logo from the Jackbox Party Pack series being playable in Smash. It's a character I've literally never heard mentioned in Smash speculation before, but I think he actually does have a decent shot, plus I really like how the moveset turned out.
So, what's next for BDZB Comics? Well, there aren't any set-in-stone promises, since my MO has always sort of been to just make whatever I want whenever I feel like it. I do have a few videos I know that I'm going to do soon. First of all, I already have a script finished and footage captured for What If Dunban was in Smash. I just need to edit the damn thing. After that, I plan to finally release part 2 of my Agumon video, and maybe do a Ricky and Smash video as well. Beyond that, I have a super ambitious Pokemon project I'd like to do, but it's all going to be one single short video instead of a multi-video epic like I plan to do for the Indo region. So, if and when it does come out, you won't need to worry about the later installments being scrapped for other content. And perhaps, most exciting of all, I'm going to do a retrospective on the Captain Underpants series. I recently revisited all of the books, and there's a lot more depth to them than I initially gave them credit for, so I'm excited to dive into that. Of course, I'm open to suggestions though. Since my Steven Universe content is what brought so many people here, I should probably make some more stuff about that too. I do have some ideas churning around in the old head of mine that I don't wish to spoil here, although I did want to reassure that I will be updating the Every Time Someone Says Mom video with footage from the movie and future by next Mother's Day. Thank you so much for watching this far. I hope you enjoyed learning the history of my channel. If you've stuck around, why not give a like and leave a comment letting me know when you first subscribed. I'm curious if there's anyone who's stuck around since I was a teenager. If there is, thank you so much for your continued support. And if there's anyone watching this who isn't subscribed yet, go ahead and do that to stay updated on my content. I'm not really in the habit of saying like and subscribe on my videos, and that might honestly account for why it's taken me so long to hit this milestone. I know every YouTuber says it, and that's pretty annoying, but hey, it's a trend for a reason, and hopefully the next 1,000 will come a lot quicker. Until next time, this is BDZB Comics signing off.
Today's birthday! It's Jason's birthday!